everybody, this one is called Master Detail. Let me show you what the finished product looks like first, and then we'll see how we build it. It's almost as, it's another kind of a quickie application. It's not so bad. When you run it, this one has to be built as an iPad because there's definitely, there's different views to it, and it works with the iPad template quite nicely. Otherwise, it's really hard to see it. It's built successful. Oh, I thought it was running it. Let's try it again. Here it is. So we have the detail on the top, and then we have this master section here. So if you wanted to create, you could put a button over here. You press on the button, or you flip it on its side, and you can see the detailed view. It's a multi-viewed application. You don't have to do this, but you'll see how easy it is to do. But you don't have to do this for your multi-view app. But it's another template I wanted to show you before the class was over with in terms of nice menuing idea. So this one is just when you click on it, it turns the view over here to a different color, obviously. It doesn't really do very much, but you could have it like bring up different documents, PDF files or something, or play different music, or, you know, let your imagination go wild on that one. But the view itself kind of looks like this, and here's the detail view contents that go in the middle of the view. So, and you just click up here and get the master detail. So this is the master view. This is the detail that comes out of the master view. So it's a nice little navigation approach. So you can use it like for a book, chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. And when you click on chapter 1, the detail comes up and you can read chapter 1, chapter 2, go from page to page.
It's like clicking every color, it goes to different view.
No, it's yes and no. There's a detailed section, and then there's a menu and mastering section. So when you click on the master part, up here, it's taking you to menu options. And what I'm showing you is that when you click on one of the menu options, in this particular case, it's changing the color of the detail view to a different color. But you could have it load up a text file, load up a PDF or something, and use it for like a book as an example. So this would be like table of contents, and you can go chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. And then when you click back over on the detail, it makes it full screen, and this is the contents for it. So it's a fairly easy navigational approach to create like a very simple app actually that looks more sophisticated because there's the master detail view to it. So, okay, that's what we're going to build. And let's see how it's done. So again, it's just kind of like the jigsaw puzzle, but a few more steps, but just about as easy actually. So we're going to use the master detail template. Offers a quick and reliable way of making an application that has two views, a master view controller containing a table view. That's what we just looked at. And then we have the contents, one or more detailed controllers containing information on the right-hand side. So unlike the other templates, the master detail template gives you a functional application, allowing dates to be added or removed from the master controller's table view, and etc. and so forth. So let's go ahead and build it. So now we want to make sure we pick this correct template. It's called the master view template. So go ahead and open up the Xcode, create a new project. Master detail application is what we want in the far left-hand corner. Now, just so you know, we've actually built the tabbed application. We didn't do the utility. We did the empty when we did the core data. I didn't play around, well, we just played around with this one as a side comment, but we didn't really do this one. And then the page-based application is too simple. It's just going from page to page. You know, the little dots in the bottom. It's very self-explanatory. I highly recommend playing around with the different ones, and you'll see what they do. Actually, it's kind of self-explanatory.
Quick question.
Yes.
When you try to build an application, you are choosing these templates.
Uh-huh.
When you're trying to build a library, would you use the other options?
For if you're going to create a Cocoa Touch static library, yeah. You know, these are basically for the iOS interface, and then these would be for applications.
Every development of iOS products will be using Xcode?
Generally. No, you have to use Xcode.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
Oh, yes, yes. You can't do it any other way. well, you can use GCC if you wanted to, and you can do it by hand with text files. But most people would use Xcode for it. It has to be written in Objective-C, unless you're using a third-party app builder like PhoneGap or something like that. That would use like a external, third-party wrapper to create an app, essentially. So let's create the master detailed application. Click on Next. And I'm going to call this Master View App, because I don't think I have one called that yet. And I believe we're going to set the device to iPad on this one so we have something to look at. But let me just check real quick. Yep, iPad. This is an old screenshot, so don't worry about using core data, storyboard, and stuff like that. So let's take a look here. Put it on iPad. We're not going to use core data, so don't worry about that. Click on Next. We saw how core data worked in another app. So, if we run the app now, we'll kind of sort of see what it looks like. It's going to look like, I don't know. Let's see what it looks like. So, we're going to run it. And we have a little iPad that shows up. And see where it says Master Detail up here. Click on Master, and look at that. We have our master back. So I can do this, and it'll put the time in here for me automatically. And then I have the edit, where I can delete the times automatically. This is the sample app template that we get. You have to do iPad. Did you do iPhone? Well, you have some time. Kill it and start over again.
It's not showing.
Nothing is showing for you. Okay, so hold on for a second. Okay, yes, you can do it on an iPhone. However, you're not going to see everything. This is going to take up the whole screen. On the iPad, you can actually see the detail view and the master view side by side because you have a bigger device, a bigger screen. That was just why I was doing it this way. But if you want to do it on the iPhone, you can do it on the iPhone if you want. But hopefully you've kind of sort of seen what the default behavior does for you. So let's change it around a little bit, show you how you can make your app work this way. If you really want to see it work, put it on... make the iPhone template, put it on your device, and you can see you have to swipe the whole page over to see the detailed view. You only see one view at a time, but it will easily swipe, so it will scroll to the detailed view. You just have to switch back and forth between the two views. Okay, but it makes for a nice kind of a app template to work with. So, okay, now you'll see that we have a master view and a detailed view. So in our Xcode project, we have a masterview.h and a detailed-view.h, and then we have our storyboard. So our storyboard is just looking like this. Let me show you the storyboard real quick here, actually. So if you wanted to change properties around, you could do it in here, but you can see this whole layout that was created for you. This is sort of like similar to what you get when you do the tabbed application template. You see the navigation controller set up for you and the views. This is again called a multi-viewed application. So if you're still looking for ideas, you haven't figured out how to do your multi-view, this is another choice you could take if you wanted to. So run it like we just did, and you'll see what it does. And so now we're going to examine the appdelegate.m to see how the controllers fit together. Don't change anything, but if you take a look at appdelegate.h, you'll see, and let's just take a look here. Oh, let's see, appdelegate.m, we've got both of our split view controllers being worked with our navigation controller, so you can kind of get a feel for how the controllers are working together. So it's part of the learning objective, so you can take a look here. So don't change anything in that file, just take a look at it. Okay, so most often, most of the work is done and they did finish launching with options method. So now we're going to open up, now we're going to make some changes. So read through this, read through the PDF file, kind of get a feel for what it is you're working with, kind of give you some more background information. But you can probably just get a feel for it by using it as well. So open up masterviewcontroller.h and make the following alterations. We're going to add the following properties. So I'm going to copy and paste this one in there. So I'm opening up masterviewcontroller.h. So let's see, master view controller .h, and in between the well, actually, I'll put it underneath this property here. I'm adding another property. It's called an NS dictionary, and it's going to be a master cell content. So it's of a dictionary type. It's going to be called master. This is the name we're giving it, master cell content, because we're going to use this essentially to keep track of the colors. So I'm going to make a list of colors. So if we've added the following property, note that we've created a property called master cell content, and this is of the NS dictionary object type, for which the cells are going to be in the table view. Now we're going to open up the master view controller.m file and make some changes in that. We're going to alter it to show the following. Replace the entire file with the following. Well, let's take a look at what we have here. We don't necessarily have to replace the top part, so let's just compare it real quick here. Master view controller.m. We have our two imports, so I'm just going to leave those alone actually. And then the @implement, which we have, our master view controller. So if we synthesize now the master cell content, we can synthesize this one. Let's see if we have another synthesize down here. We don't. So I'm going to put both of the two synthesizes in here. Actually, I am just going to replace. I'm just going to take the whole file out and replace it with this one, just to see first of all if it works. But before I do that, let me just go through what's in here. So we're going to synthesize the detailed view controller so that we can replace it or have it show essentially and be able to change the color of the view that's inside of it. And we're going to synthesize this new one that we added the property for a few minutes ago. And then in the init with nib name, well, let's see if we have that actually in here. We have a view did load, we have awake from nib, insert node. We may not actually. This is a legacy code. It'll be interesting to see if this actually works. It may not necessarily work because of the changes that were made. But let's see. We'll just play it by ear. We're going to set the title to master, which is what it was set at originally. And clear selection on view will appear. No, we're not going to clear it. We're just going to leave it alone. On the view did load is where we load up the master cell content, which is a new instance of a dictionary. We're going to load it with the colors blue, cyan, white, and gray. And on the view undid load, basically just cleans up our view, super view undid load. And then should auto rotate to change the orientation. Number of selections in the table view, we're going to make it 1. And on the table view, we're going to load up the master cell count in terms of the number of counts. So we created a dictionary, put a bunch of colors inside of the dictionary, took the dictionary, loading it up into the table view to the number of cells that we've actually got in the dictionary. So they'll be created for us dynamically depending on how many colors we put in the dictionary. And then we're just going to customize the appearance a little bit in the table view, call it cell. And then in our cells here, we're going to essentially load a default style for it. And the rest of this is essentially for the click event. So on the color key, we're going to set the color, background color. So view background color is going to be equal to whatever color key we selected. And that's going to be the names that we used up here for our color keys. And our color keys up here were red, cyan, white, and gray, according to our dictionary that we created. So the names end up being the keys in the dictionary, and then the values end up being the color name. So we kind of cheated it a little bit by creating red, green, by using the default RGB colors in the UI color scheme as the keys. It'll just use the name of the key, which is going to be the color. So it's going to set the background color to this color, which is the key name. So, well, long story short, let's see if it works. So this will be a little test to see if it's going to work. So I am going to cut and paste this in. Let's take a look. Anybody get it to work? Let's see. This is kind of dangerous. I'm just going to take the whole file out. Let's see what happens. It's an older project, so I'm not quite sure if it's actually going to work or not. We'll see. Ooh. Well, let's see what we got down here. Did you guys hear an alarm? Let's see, property view cannot be found. View?
How come I got only one error? Me also.
It's okay. I probably have some extra characters in here. Back to the type. Obviously, the cutting and the pasting, not the best cut and paste job. So instead of doing it that way, I'm going to take it out of the sample project. So because I have some whatever you call those, characters that are not supposed to be in there. So let's see, this one is master view .m. I'm going to cheat sheet it this way instead. So instead of taking it out of the PDF file that gives me all those extra characters that I don't really want, pulling it out of here, this one actually seemed to work just fine. We do have a message here. It says it's been depreciated, but that's okay. This one should actually work for us, but let's just take a look here. It says build successful. Apparently in the iOS 7 version this was depreciated. It is working though. Except for it's not changing the color, which is interesting. And I do see it's kind of smaller than it was before in my other project. So it looks to be that the view controller, let's see, let me just take another look here. Oh, let's see what we got down here. Detailed view controller, probably, let's go back up here. Detailed view controller. Let's pull this one out here. Detailed view controller. Let's try it again. It could be that the old project type may or may not necessarily. Now the method's depreciated on the detailed view. So long story short, there's a depreciated method that doesn't appear to be working in the iOS 7.1 version that I have. It will probably work just fine in some of your older versions because it works just fine in the previous project. But you can see that the only thing that's not working is a color change of the view that's over here, probably having to do with a depreciated method of some sort. But long story short, you can see that the menu does show up, which was the learning objective of this. So we created a dictionary of key values and key pair values, and we put them in here. And then so we have the master and we have the detailed view that is going to create that menuing option for us. Now you can change the names of master and detail, and you can change, obviously, you can load whatever you want up into the menuing choice. When you click on the menuing choice, this is when you're going to have to program some sort of behavior outside of just setting a background color. So anyway, I will leave you with that. It was a simple demonstration to show you the template. The idea was to get familiar with the master view template so you know what it does and what it can be used for. In this particular case, if I troubleshoot it a little bit further, I can probably, who knows, probably figure out why it's not setting the color correctly. The color code would be down here. This is where we would be able to set it, but perhaps maybe in another, I don't know, another tutorial. But we'll leave this one alone. Okay, so I'm going to stop this one.